Welcome to Transforming with Drew, where we talk about everything on the TQIA spectrum. Thank you, everybody, for listening and tuning in. I'm very pleased to introduce our guest, Tanius, to Transforming with Drew, where we talk about everything all TQIA. So, Tanius, how are you doing today?
Very good, very good.
Would you like to introduce yourself a little bit to the audience and more about you, where you're from?
Yep, I'm Tanius, by the way. I'm 30. I'm currently staying in Florida. I'm not from Florida. I should stay here. And about 3 years come September into transitioning. About 2.5 years medically transitioning, I guess. But it's been one hell of a roller coaster for sure, but it's waved out.
So I know that you're a very open transgender male and you're currently expecting a son, am I correct?
Yes,
And
December 29th.
yes, baby. And we have the term for transgender men that we call a seahorse dad. Would you like to tell us a little bit more about that and what made you ready to decide to become a parent?
So I've got 3 kids already, but they're not biologically mine. But I've always wanted to carry one of my own. This whole pregnancy was not planned at all. It was more of an accident. So for the ones that think you cannot get pregnant on testosterone, you can. So because it wasn't planned, but I mean, I'm not like against it. It's like, I guess, hey, let's roll with it. I'm even more stoked because it ended up being an accident and having a boy.
Mhm.
So bonus, but I mean, it really wasn't planned. But I mean, in the future, I did plan on having a kid, only one. I just wanted at least one biological, just because the feeling I wanted to have the feeling of from birth on out, regardless of what everybody says or anything like that. I just wanted to have my own because I always get into these relationships where you end up having kids involved, and then when the relationship ends, the kids end too. So me having my own doesn't happen. I'm there all the way through, no matter what happens in the situation.
So tell me, how has this affected your mental health and your relationship with your family being a pregnant transgender male?
My mental, like, don't get me wrong, like I've never really been worried about how society felt about me until just recently. Like, I, it's gotten better, but at the very beginning, it's like people are looking at me crazy. It's like they know, like it was very uncomfortable. But the more I came out on TikTok about it, I got more comfortable with myself. So then I can go out to society and I don't care. It is what it is. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm blessed to be able to carry my own kid. But like my mental state, like the first, because I didn't find out I was pregnant until 2 months. I was like 2 months, and then that's when I found out that I was pregnant. So then I had to cut testosterone cold turkey. So
Oh,
then, like, my levels, just mood swings and all that for like the first month and a half were pretty pretty hectic. It was just a roller coaster. So I mean that mental and all that, it waved out. It's like panned out within the last like month and a half, 2 months. But that first, just I was really into my head, just worried about what society felt, what they were thinking, like they know type of thing. But before that, I've never really cared about society until just now. But it's gotten a lot easier now that I've gotten further along and see that there's a lot more positivity coming towards it versus the negative, and just realizing that I can help somebody else's journey. That's why I've been more comfortable with like opening up about it, because I do realize like there's more people that were like me, like worried about what society is and they don't want to carry on that burden, and then that just being uncomfortable. So that's why I'm more comfortable with sharing my story, because I want other trans men to realize that it's okay to carry your own kid, regardless of what people are really looking at. I mean, of course, they're going to look at you weird because it's different, but a blessing still.
and it's definitely still a blessing. I mean, it's kind of funny. I was thinking about this movie called Junior. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it's when Arnold Schwarzenegger is pregnant.
Oh,
Yeah, and it was kind of it was a cute movie, and I thought it was kind of neat. And I remember like, I don't know who said something like, "Oh God, if men could give birth," and I'm like, "Well, you technically can." So it's
right.
kind of a neat thing to think about it. So how did you find out that you were pregnant? I know a lot of people, not everybody with testosterone stops having periods, but a lot of people do, or menstruation, I think is what a different term of calling it. How did you find out that you were actually pregnant?
So I was at work or whatever. It was going on for about a week straight, about 2 weeks straight. I'm at work, which mind you, I throw garbage for waste manager or whatever. So I only really go to the bathroom like twice a day, maybe, and I'm cool. No matter how many liquids I drink or whatever. But it just came up to where I was, hey, I got to go to the bathroom like a lot, and then I was like super sick for like a week, just like steadily throw. It'd be like that in the morning. I throw up like every morning right when I start the route, and I was just going to the bathroom, eating a lot more. Like all that had changed, and I was just doing research, like what's going on or whatever, like, and then a lot of the stuff that I was typing into Google or whatever, just pregnancy. I was like, man, screw it. Let me go ahead and take this test or whatever because something is not right. So
Yeah.
then I tested, came up positive, and then I went to the doctor because I needed that next, I needed that next confirmation. Like, so things have just been off. It hasn't been the same or whatever. I'm on testosterone. I'm pretty sure I cannot get pregnant. So I don't know what it is, but Google keeps telling me that it's pregnancy. So
Yeah.
can we just test, get it out of the way? And that came back positive. I was like, okay, so, and they tell me I'm 2 months along. I'm like, dang.
Yeah, I can still get. Yeah, and it's good to know that because I know that there are a lot of trans men who are in the gay community, and it's not something that they actually probably think about, and maybe they're like with their partner having fun. So that's actually something we probably should know is like you can still technically get pregnant on testosterone. It doesn't technically take away the egg.
I haven't had a cycle in 2.5 years. Like it came back or nothing like that. It's been about 2.5. It was about a month into my me taking testosterone, and so that's never even been the case because they're asking me like, well, what was your last cycle? I was like 2.5 years ago. About they're like, so you're sure? I was like, I don't know if I'm sure. The test said yeah, but no, you
Yeah,
can't.
that's crazy. And so you said you had to stop taking testosterone immediately.
Yeah, yeah, and that was horrible. Especially just cutting, especially because it was like my day that I was supposed to take my shot and all that. Like I was already fluctuating and all that. Like it
Yeah.
was
Tired, mood swings, you're feeling tired. Yeah, I feel like I'm always shot day. It's like, so I get that
it was
completely. What do you think is a misconception about trans men and having kids? Because I already know that you're trying to help break the stigma with everything that you're doing. And I see a lot of people really do see you as someone they can look up to and resonate with. So, what do you think is a big misconception?
that trans men can't get pregnant. That it's not okay. That we're less than what we really are. Like so many people, oh, you're still a woman because you're carrying a kid. You're doing a woman's role and blah. It's just, we're still men. No matter what, if you want to carry a kid, you want to carry a kid. It doesn't mean you're not a man. You just are born with special parts where you could utilize that. But regardless of what they say, at the end of the day, we're blessed. We've got the parts that we could carry. Just you'll get a lot of backlash, but you also get a lot of positivity. But
Mhm.
regardless of what, we're still men. We're not less than what less than anything. If anything, we've got that more one up. But
Because we kind of got a little bit of more information on things. So,
right.
you found out recently you're having a little boy. How excited are you about that?
Oh, so I was because I was pretty bummed. Like it wasn't planned. Like I really wanted to plan it type of thing. But I'm stoked it's a boy. Very much so. I mean, I would have been okay with a girl, but I really wanted a boy.
At least you're honest.
Like I would have dealt with it, but I was pretty ecstatic, especially now that I've done the sonogram. So I got to see the human being, like see his mouth move and all that. It's just
Oh,
it's a really good feeling, and I feel him moving around. It's like wow, I'm really doing it. It's an amazing feeling, honestly, and that's why when I go out in public, like this last month, I've gotten really more comfortable with going outside and all that. Because at first, I was hidden for a little while because I was always just so worried about oh they see it because now I'm showing like there's no hidden about it. So
yeah.
now it's like, but now lately it's amazing feeling. And honestly, they don't look at me crazy. Like the people that do look at me, they come up to me and just tell me how amazing it is that it's nice to see somebody else. Like it's crazy. I always thought they're looking at me to talk crap, but they're just looking at me to make sure they're seeing the right stuff. But I've had a lot of good people come up to me and just really like talk to me about it. But it's pretty good.
That's really good to hear because I actually grew up in Florida a little bit, and as anybody knows, Florida is a red state. But depending on where you are is depending on how people are going to react to you. I think I grew up like near the Orlando area in the Winter Park and stuff. So I always felt like at least it's a little nicer in that type of area, but you never know what people are going
Right.
to be like in Florida. It's like you just never.
It's been an amazing journey for sure. I love it.
Oh, I'm really happy to hear that. Do you have any names yet you're thinking about?
Zanias. I'm gonna name him Zanias
Oh,
Marquise.
that's I like that. I like the middle name too. That kind of has a good flow to it. Is a nice Marquise. I wonder where you got the inspiration for the first name.
I had a something like mine.
Yeah, I mean, I understand. I completely understand. My middle name is my dad's middle name, so I get it. I completely get it. So, if you see any younger trans people who are struggling and wanting to have kids, what advice would you give them?
Do what your heart says, regardless of how you feel. Do what your heart says. If you feel that having a kid is what you want, do it. No matter how you think somebody is going to react, it don't matter. Do it for your own happiness. Live your truth. I mean, because at the end of the day, it's gonna be an amazing outcome. It might be hell, but it'll be worth it for sure.
For
Do it.
anybody who listens to the podcast, live your truth is literally the part of my ending. It's live with purpose and live your truth. So you literally just kind of brought that home. I love that. That's beautiful. I would actually have a curious question about like how are the symptoms treating you with being pregnant? Do you have any like weird cravings yet, or how's your sleeping cycle?
Don't have any cravings, and like my eating habit, it's always been a lot. Starting testosterone, so that hasn't changed at all. I've always eaten a lot, but no cravings at all. I just eat.
Just eat. You're like, oh, I'm hungry. I'm gonna eat this. Me.
Yeah, and in the first week, I had morning sickness, but other than that, it's been really, really chill.
That's good.
Like I have any problems. Like it was a little weird when I first felt the move or whatever, but now it's like, oh, that's pretty dope feeling. But other than that, I haven't had any symptoms, no nothing. Honestly, it's been a really smooth ride.
That's awesome.
Luckily,
Well, fingers crossed it stays smooth
yeah,
completely. I mean, that's amazing.
so more like me.
Yeah, bees. I hope it stays easy, especially because I know that people say like the sleeping tends to be like a problem sometimes too when they're going through that. Because like, I know eventually like your stomach's gonna get bigger and you're gonna need like support, and it's kind of crazy what the body can really do and handle. And I think that it's really an inspiration to see what you're doing, and I'm definitely very proud of you for what you're doing because like I said, we don't have enough people, especially trans men of color, even being pregnant. I don't think I've rarely ever even seen that. I most of the time just see trans white cis men or trans white men who are pregnant, but I don't really see a lot of trans men of color. So you're actually definitely breaking a lot of stigmas in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and that was another reason why I really wanted to publicize mine because I haven't seen. I think I've seen like maybe one,
Yeah, that's
but that's actually out. There's a few. They're under the radar, so I wanted to just show them like it's okay, regardless of what race we are or anything. It don't matter. I mean, it's already a struggle being a black man in society now, but also being a black man and pregnant. Like it already looks crazy, but it really doesn't. If you're just out there, live your truth. Like we actually get mad respect if you're just comfortable within your own skin.
I can definitely see that, and that's what draw me to you. That's why I started following you in the first place. And I was kind of watching your journey, and really thinking how amazing it is because I'm in like a bunch of different transgender groups. We barely have any trans color representation anywhere, from surgery to even transitioning and being pregnant. So to see more people being open and honest and being there, like I barely see trans Asian people, I barely see trans Spanish people. So it's like nice to see more diversity starting to show up and being like, hey, this is normal. It's around everywhere. Like all of us exist and we all exist in the same space together, and that's okay. And I
Right.
really love that. Definitely. So if lastly, if anybody would like to know any more information about you or follow you on any platforms, how would they be able to find you?
TikTok for sure under Trans King 30, and then my Facebook's always open, which is Tanius Posey, and then
Last name
my
again? Posey?
Tanius Posey, Posey. But and then my Instagram's also the same. So I mean, you can follow me in just about anywhere, mainly TikTok. But if you're really trying to get like a follow back and actually like just message me. I have messengers open to where anybody can message me, even if we're not friends or whatever, from Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. So I'm
And
down for whatever. There's never a wrong question. It's all new to a lot of people.
I agree with that. There's not many people that are that open. I know a lot of people, especially a lot of trans men too, tend to get a little bit um not what I don't want to say like defensive, but
Opportunity.
protective, right? About
Yeah.
transition. And that's understandable.